Welcome to Tia's Table, where we talk about making fitness and wellness doable for busy women like you and me. Looking for healthy meal ideas, workout motivation, and good conversation? Don't worry, I got you, girl. Sit back, grab a snack, and let's have some girl talk. Hey girl, hey, welcome back to another episode of Tia's Table. I'm Tia, a certified group fitness instructor and nutrition coach. I help women develop healthy habits that align with their health, wellness, and fitness goals. We have a lovely challenge going on in our app community right now where we're getting steps in every day and really focusing on dialing down on our nutrition to learn which foods work for our bodies. If you're interested in learning about the next challenge that will take place at the top of 2025, feel free to email me at tiavfitness@gmail.com to go ahead and claim your spot for our next 75 hard challenge, or you can message me if you have any questions on Instagram at Tia V Fitness. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I bet you didn't think you'd be talking to me again so soon, girl. And I hope you're having a great day. Listen, I feel like we've got some pretty interesting things to talk about today. But before we talk about them, I've got to just keep it a buck with you about what's on Tia's table. Right now, really, truly, it's nothing. I have been eating chili. I made chili on Sunday, and it's my sure thing chili recipe that I think went out in a newsletter at some point last year, maybe. It's still so good, and it's still such a sure thing. We love it. And whenever whenever we make the chili, I eat it until the chili is gone. So that's what I've been eating most recently. But girl, let me tell you something. First of all, I've been really consistent with my stuff on social media, which means I'm seeing a lot more of whatever that people are putting out on their own social media pages, right? And if I see one more review of that chicken Big Mac from McDonald's, girl, I'm gonna have to go just break down and go get me one. Now, it's in my plan. It's in my plan because there's no way a chicken Big Mac was going to come to the marketplace and I, a chicken connoisseur, I've eaten chicken all of the ways you can eat it, except for as a Big Mac. So I'm trying to figure out, when am I going to go get it? I have got to have it. I've seen nothing almost but rave reviews. And the one or two, bad reviews that I've seen, I just think those people just got some bad McDonald's. And that happens, right? I'm sure. But the way the McDonald's near me is set up, girl, they don't miss. It's hot every time. It's good every time. Your order be accurate every time. And I love that for all of us that live over here where I live. That's how I know on whatever day I say I'm going to go get this chicken Big Mac, I hope that it lives up to everything that I'm making it out to be in my mind. Because I need it. I need it. So that's going to be one of the Tia's Tables menu items real soon, because as soon as I get it, I will come here and tell you all about it. And I think it's only a limited time. So we all have to kind of try. If you're interested, we all have to kind of try it before they snatch it back off the menu. Girl, but my mental space is so just pressed to the max with thoughts of this chicken Big Mac. And I have to have it with fries, obviously. I love dipping my McDonald's French fries in their barbecue sauce. I've always done that since I was a little girl. And I'm just so excited. The way I'm going to eat that in my car and rub my feet together and rock and dance and be happy. Please, if you see me sitting in a parking lot somewhere eating that chicken Big Mac and those French fries and sipping on me a good McDonald's Sprite, act like you don't see me. Because I'm going to be in a moment having my entire life. But anyway, the next thing that I did want to talk about is something interesting that I got into the mail today. So you see, now that I'm doing more things, I'm noticing that more things are also coming to me. Last week, I got an email about from a pot company, and they wanted to send me pots and have me review them or talk about them or whatever. And I decided to decline that particular offer because of some of the details of it. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But when this next company reached out to me and they were like, hey, can we send you something? Like, we'd love to just add you to our list. You don't have to do anything unless you love it and you just genuinely want to share it. But we want to just send you some stuff and, like, girl, just see how it moves you. See what the fitness spirit says to you about it. And so today in the mail, I received a cute little cookbook and some Truvani protein powder. Now, to know me is to know that I have never endorsed, recommended, suggested, or even personally used on a regular basis anybody's protein powder, because I was always like, what's in it? Like, really, what's in it? And how do I know that what you're telling me is in it is actually in it? Because it's powder. Like, anything could be in here, okay? This could have a little bit of powder from the 1980s in it, and I wouldn't know because it's ground and fine and been milled to death. And when you flip it over and you read the ingredients on a lot of those, I don't know what any of this stuff is, nor do I have the time to sit down and Google to figure it out. Truvani is plant-based. And so the list of ingredients are all things that I could read. It's like plant pea protein and things of that nature. So they kind of had my attention there. But plant or pea protein is like the main thing that's in it. That's why I mentioned that one. But yeah, then it came with a cookbook. So I'm flipping through the cookbook and I'm like, okay, pancakes, milkshakes in different flavors. There's a pudding recipe, donuts, French toast. There's even like a coffee recipe, waffles, and then like a brownie dessert. It's like a cute little 30-page cookbook. And when I saw the donuts on page 17 of this cookbook, I said to myself, now, as much as I love a donut with my coffee on a fall morning, this is worth a shot. It's worth a try. The recipe has almond milk, vanilla extract, a mashed ripe banana, eggs, the vanilla protein powder, coconut sugar, baking powder, salt, and oat flour. Many of these things I already have in my kitchen. I would probably use oat milk instead of almond milk because I don't buy almond milk. But other than that, I'm like, yeah, I could make these donuts like today. I'm not going to make them today though. But I mean, like I could have. And I do have an oven pan, like a donut oven pan. So we'll see, because you cook them in the oven. And then I guess it's optional for you to powder them with sugar. Or they say you could also do like a melted coconut kind of like glaze for them. They have my attention. I will be making these donuts possibly one day next week. I will report back or share on Instagram how they came out and how they taste. Because if you tell me I can eat a donut and it's got a significant amount of protein in it, that might be something that I make on a Sunday, and then like I can have a sweet treat all throughout the week. Because the calories in the protein powder are super low too. I think one whole pouch was 130 calories. So, I mean, the numbers are also there. I would have to look up the caloric intake on coconut sugar because I don't know that off the top of my head. But for the rest of these ingredients, I'm like, yeah, this is a very low calorie donut. All you would just need, girl, is the time to pop them bad boys in the oven. And they only need up to 12 minutes to cook. So it feels like we're going to have donuts really soon. Out of all of the recipes in here, that one caught my eye the most. There is also a banana pudding recipe in here. But see, I feel like banana pudding is one of those things where you just don't try to do it healthy. I mean, the picture looks amazing. The picture very much so looks like something that I would want to eat. But the fact that there is cottage cheese in that recipe, I don't know. I've never even had cottage cheese, like plain on its own. So I'm like, is that going to be good? Is it worth it? But then that's only vanilla extract, cottage cheese, a banana, some maple syrup, some of the protein powder, and then optional toppings, they say, are the sliced banana, crushed graham crackers, and whipped cream. And y'all know I keep the Cool Whip in the freezer. I use the fat-free one, so like that's not an issue. A banana. Well, and you know what? Today I discovered when I posted to Instagram my little sweet treat, my banana covered in nuts, peanut butter, and honey, that people do not like bananas. And I did not realize that that was like a real thing. I did not know that until today, that there were people out there who were like, I don't eat bananas. Who knew? I didn't know. But yeah, this sounds like a very low calorie banana pudding. So I don't know. I'm torn on some of these because on the one hand, I'm like, ooh, I know that that would be very delicious, very low calorie and high in protein. But the other part of me is kind of like, do we even ever need to know how good some of this stuff is? Sometimes I'm better off not knowing. And I feel like the banana pudding thing is something I'm better off not knowing. But then again, I don't know. I mean, what's the harm in it if it fits into your numbers and it's basically like a plant-based dessert? I don't know, girl. But stay tuned for that because I'm definitely going to make the donuts. So anyway, let's get into the main reason for my call today. I shared a clip from Sterling. No, his name is not Sterling. The guy from This Is Us. Oh my gosh, what is his name? Something Sterling, right? Or is his first name Sterling? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Him and his wife. Now, his wife's name is Ryan Michelle. That I do know. But what is his first name? I haven't eaten dinner yet, and I feel like my mind just went blank. Anyway, you guys know who I'm talking about. They have a new podcast called We Don't Always Agree. And a clip of it came across one of my feeds one day, and it was a clip where Ryan was talking about the invisible labor that she experiences as a wife and mother, and about how apparently one day she was sitting down trying to read a book or something like that, and he came up to her and asked her a question. And, you know, like sometimes when that happens, not that you're mad at the person, you're just frustrated about the situation. So you might look up at them like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? You see me sitting here reading a book. Like, what can I do for you? And he was sitting there listening to her, and she was saying, so what you probably sense in that moment is like my frustration because I never get a free moment to just exist and to just be like in my mind, in my own thoughts, because as the wife and mom, she was like, and this is true she is saying that she believes this is true for a lot of families, that the woman normally does just naturally take on that role, or maybe it's just like a default setting for families. I don't know, where the woman ends up taking on that role of remembering everything for everybody. And she started talking about how she has to remember like doctor's appointments, when kids need things for school, when signups are, when someone has a field trip, when is picture day, what do they need before they can even start playing soccer? Do they have a sports physical? Have they had their eyes checked? You know, have she signed every piece of paper that came home in their backpack? What are we going to have for dinner? Did I go grocery shopping? Do I even have time to go grocery shopping? You know, and then there are the things that she needs like for herself. But she says like even before she even gets to herself, she's like, does Sterling need something from me? You know, did I get weird vibes after we had a conversation about something that was tough? Like she's mentally processing like all these different things. It's like so many tabs are open in her mind all at once, all the time. So when she finally gets free time, it bothers her when that free time is interrupted over something that she feels that person could have figured out on their own, right? And I watched the way she so eloquently put that together and explained that to him in a way that was like still very nice and loving. She didn't appear to be like working up a mad in the moment or anything like that. That I was just like, wow, she basically just spoke my life to me, but to him. So apparently she's not alone in what she's doing, and neither am I. So I shared that clip on Threads because I'm just like, oh, people have to see this. And that thread ended up going viral. Like, people were chiming in saying like, yes, this, exactly this. I do. And then some women started sharing like details, like, I do this, like my husband wouldn't know, like my kids' teachers' names, or like they, some of them started dragging their husbands in the mud just a little bit. But then you did have some men come in and say ways that they are helpful, ways that they noticed that this was happening in their own families, and things they did to kind of like intervene and to kind of like shut that down so that she wasn't so burdened mentally by everything that goes on in their house and everything that it takes to like run a family and a household. So that was kind of like refreshing to see. And then you also had, of course, there's always going to be a couple bad apples in the bunch, right? You had a couple men up there that were like, so let me get this straight. He's a successful actor who makes enough money for y'all to live like a good life, and you're still up here complaining about having to do so much. And to that particular man, I wrote him and said, just so you know, she is also a successful actress. Now, you might not recognize her out like, as she is, like in her day-to-day look, right? But she, Google her. She's an actress too. And she works on projects and things too, right? But the difference is they're both actors, but she's an actor and she is also like running that house, apparently in a way that she feels is putting much of the responsibility on her, right? And of course, like, I didn't watch the whole episode, like, or anything like that, so I don't know what his response to her was, but as he was sitting there, you could see in him that either he was surprised to hear her saying that, or he did not realize she felt that way, because the expression on his face to me was definitely giving like, oh, wow. Like, I didn't realize, maybe we should have talked about this before we were mic'd up. So I was ready. But yeah, no, his expression was like, I think any husband's expression would be, as you are basically telling him, yeah, around these parts, I do way more than you do. And so I was thinking about that. And I'm like, yeah, for a lot of women, that is true. You remember a lot of stuff for your kids. You remember a lot of stuff for your husband. And even though you're not responsible for the things that happen with your husband, and I'll use myself as an example, like, I definitely am the primary like caretaker with our kids. Like, I'm on top of when people go to the orthodontist, the dentist, the doctor, get new eyeglasses, when they need to be signed up for their extracurricular activities. Does someone's band instrument or orchestra instrument need to be fine-tuned? When is your project due? Don't you have a test on Friday? Why aren't you studying? Like, all that stuff, I manage and keep up with that for our 3 kids. And that is how it has always been for us. Primarily, I think, because we started out as a military family. And when you're a military spouse, that just only makes sense for the constant parent, or the parent who's always present, to be the lead on like everything. And then when your service member can dip in, or when they are even home to dip in, they can dip in and help when they can. But for the most part, girls, sometimes it's years and you be by yourself with them children, right? So I think we fell into that kind of rhythm and groove because of where we started as a military family. Now that my husband is retired, we still just kind of operate like that, because that is just what we know. And to be quite honest with you, part of that does work for me, right? The mental part of it, and I think it's just because I've gotten used to it over the years and I'm like fine-tuned with it. The mental part of it is a lot of invisible labor. And that's what Ryan ended up calling it. She was like, it's a lot of invisible labor. It's labor that you don't see. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. It's labor that no one sees, right? So you do that for your kids. Now, for husbands, I don't know that life, and that struggle is not mine. So I can't speak to that. My husband schedules his own stuff. He'll let me know, and we like write things down. We have a big like monthly calendar on our desk in the office, and everybody, well, not everybody, I fill in things that pertain to me and the kids. He fills in the stuff that pertains to him. And so we all kind of know who is where on which days, but he handles his own stuff. Like, so that part I cannot speak to. But then it comes to you. Like, then you're next, right? And as I was thinking about this, I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense now. Because now we're going to pull in, like, the reason why you and I be talking, girl. That makes so much sense. I said, when it comes to a woman's wellness journey, it is probably so far down on the list when you think about her invisible labor. Like, it probably isn't, especially if she is a woman who has children. That is probably so far down on the list, if it's even on the list at all. And then as I was thinking about it, I was like, yeah, and a wellness journey or fitness journey of any kind is also a lot of invisible labor. You are thinking about it more often than maybe you would like to, or any of us would even care to admit. And that's mainly because you eat several times a day. So every time you eat, you're thinking about it, right? And I wondered how that may keep people from ever even getting started. Like, when I talk to people who are interested in working with me, or I just talk to like random people about where they're at and where they would like to be and what's keeping them from even getting started. After seeing her video, I think I've come to the conclusion that much of it is the invisible labor. It is the thought of it. It is the fact that that's another thing to add to their list of things that will just be rolling around in their brain. I have to think about meal planning. I have to think about when I'm going to go to the gym. I have to think about what I'm going to wear to the gym. I have to think about what are my kids going to be doing when I'm at the gym. Hopefully they with their daddy. But, it's a lot to just think about and process. And I would be willing to bet that for a lot of women, that's too much. Like, they just don't want to have one more thing to think about. So I kind of wanted to address that. Like, if you feel like that's you, if you're a person who's like, ooh, child, like, I can't even get started. Like, I can't even think about getting started because just the thought of doing something else overwhelms me. Or if you're a person who's currently in your fitness journey, maybe you're in a good rhythm and you're super consistent, but maybe you just feel bogged down by the fact that you're having to think about so much already every day. And now here comes this, because sometimes that too will be the thing that breaks the camel's back for you. And now you're off the bandwagon because you just felt like you just needed a break. And when you needed a mental break, you chose to take away something that was important to you. Like, instead of getting rid of somebody else's stuff, you got rid of your stuff because it was just all too much to think about. So let's talk about that and how we can kind of tackle this whole thing, pushing us to the max mentally. One of the things that I would want people to consider is that before you ever even get started on anything like this, it really is truly important to look at your time and how you spend your time. If 75 Hard taught me nothing else, it taught me time management. And even if it really didn't teach me time management, it pointed out to me how I was going about spending my time in ways that were not always productive and or fruitful, right? Once you sit down and you look at your day or your week ahead, however you like to do it. Some people are weekly people, some people are daily people. And you look at your time and how your time is spent, what you allocate a lot of time towards, you'll be able to say to yourself, like, okay, I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I wake up at 5 because maybe you have to be at work super early. So from 5 until, let's say, 8 o'clock, you're busy doing stuff because you got to get yourself ready. You got to get to work. You have a commute. Maybe you sit in traffic. You've got to be at your desk by 8 o'clock, right? Totally understandable. We get that. Then you're at work from 8 to 5 because you get a 1 hour lunch break, right? You get off work, you fight that same traffic back home, and now you're not home until 6:30. That is very difficult, right? That is a lot to think about. Trying to figure out when you're at that fork in the road at 6:30, like you're standing at 6:30 and you're like, am I going to go to the gym and work out, or am I going to do some type of exercise, or am I going to go home and like kind of decompress from the day and like chill out basically, because I got to get back up at 5 o'clock the next morning and do this all over again. And this is assuming you do not have a family, right? If you have a family, when you get off work at 6:30, quite naturally, if some of the things on your list of things to do involve other people, most people are choosing to go in that direction. Like so-and-so has to be at softball practice. Maybe so-and-so has piano lessons. I got to make dinner. I got to swing by the grocery store. And before you know it, now you're busy from the time you got off work, probably until like 9 or 9:30. And that is probably on a good night, right? So for people like that, when you think about it, it's like, yeah, their mental space is already so full just going through their day, right? So then you have a big decision to make. And I was talking to somebody earlier this week about, coming to that place where you decide for yourself, like, how bad do I really want to see change? Do I want to see change bad enough so that I'm willing to make myself a little bit uncomfortable? Maybe I'm willing to go to bed a little bit later. Maybe I'm willing to get up a little bit earlier. Maybe I'm willing to use my lunch break to speed walk. Like whatever it would look like for you, I think looking at your time from a weekly or a daily viewpoint before you ever even start meal planning or working out is a great way to set yourself up for success. Because you can look at your week and you might say to yourself, well, certain days out of the week, this is not going to happen because I'm already so busy. But maybe there are 2 or 3 days out of the week where you do have more time, where maybe you get off work earlier or your kids don't have commitments that involve you and you do have that time to work out. I would start there with building my plan around the days that I actually have time to do it. And I would never tell myself that I needed to work out every single day if my schedule is telling me that that is not so, right? That alone will alleviate a lot of that mental stress that comes along with starting a wellness journey, right? Then once you figure out the time that you're available, then you start to plan. You plan where you're going to work out, what you're going to work out. Are you going to get a trainer? Is it going to be a Pilates class? Like, are you going to Zumba? Whatever it is going to be for you, you plan it out and you say, okay, on these days, I'm doing this from this time to this time. And it is also good to go ahead and let your family know whatever that plan is going to be. Then, of course, along with that, you want to plan out food. So making sure that you're grocery shopping and meal prepping in a way that makes sense to you and your family. I think the other biggest thing that people talk to me about is the meal planning, because they'll say like, oh, I don't have time to meal prep, or I'm already making dinner for my family. Like, I don't want to feel like I got to make food for them and food for me. And I totally get that. So you have to figure out what makes sense for you. I know I've shared before that it does not make sense for me to cook a whole bunch of stuff on Sunday and then divvy it up into those little containers and put all those containers in my refrigerator, because I'm like, I have a family of 5, right? We need all of our refrigerator space. I could never fill my refrigerator up with all those cute little containers and just grab one all throughout the week. It would not work for me, but it might work for other people. That system might be exactly what you need to help you be consistent. For some people, you might have to become open to cooking more often during the week than what maybe you normally do now. 1, because eating at home is just healthier and better. But then for 2, because that'll guarantee that you maybe have lunches for the next day, or that you are getting whatever dinner like done and like out, you're getting that stuff done. So you have to look and see what, is going to work for you in terms of meal prepping and planning. And then once the 2 of those things come together, you realize when you can do things, you realize what you're going to do, you put those 2 things together, and that is your system. And everybody has the ability to create a system that is going to work for them. Once you figure out what your system is, then you just insert yourself and you just execute the system, which I know is easier said than done, but you would be surprised that more days than not, you'll be able to kind of follow through with your system. Maybe the only time your system gets thrown off a little is maybe when someone gets sick. I know that happened to me just yesterday. My daughter stayed home from school. She was sick. She wasn't feeling well. So she stayed home. So I had to flip my day. I took care of her all day long today, or all day long yesterday. And I did my workout at the end of the evening, which was fun until my Apple Watch decided that it was going to turn off during my strength training session. But that's neither here nor there. My daughter felt better today, so today she went back to school and she's great. But now my husband has the same thing, whatever she had yesterday, he now has it. So today I ran him through the same get well within 24 hours little routine that I have. And, he's fine. Like, he's already doing better. So I say that to say everybody can literally figure out what will work for them. And then you just have to commit to whatever you have decided is going to work for you. And once you do that, it really will free you of like that burden of having to always think about it in such a heavy way. Now, on a day-to-day basis, yeah, girl, like we're still going to have to think about this, like, because you got to stay committed and into it. And sometimes the only way to stay committed and into it is kind of maybe talk yourself through it. Like, come on, girl, we got to get up. We got to go get this workout in. Like, come on, girl, let's go ahead and pop this salmon in the air fryer, like whatever. But it's thinking about it in a more, I would like to believe, a more positive way. And it doesn't feel so much like invisible labor when you are actually in the execution phase. Whereas in that pre-phase, yeah, like that's invisible labor. And you know what? I would also be willing to bet for the women who say they're going to start and they never do, that too is a lot of heavy invisible labor. I was talking to a friend earlier this week about how sometimes when we know there's something that we want to do, like it's in us, we're thinking about it, it's on our minds, like we have an idea or we just have the desire to like do something, start something, whether it's like this fitness stuff that we talk about or just whatever it is, something you're passionate about. The longer you wait to actually start whatever that thing is, the more invisible labor you'll do. Like, and it actually ends up becoming kind of stressful because then you start thinking about the fact that you're not doing it. And then I would also be willing to bet you're thinking about all of the reasons why you're not doing it. When the easiest way to put yourself out of that kind of misery is just to do it. It's just to do it. So whether that's doing what we talk about here, getting into better shape, living a healthier lifestyle, or if it's literally like a new hobby or starting therapy or traveling more or trying out new restaurants, learning to bake, learning another language, like whatever is pulling at your gut and your soul and you feel like you're being like called to do it, or you feel like it's something you just want to check off your life list, which I started saying life list instead of bucket list because I don't like the way that sounds. But if it's something you want to check off of your life list, like, girl, do it. Because not doing it is only going to stress you out. The more you think about it or the more you see other people doing it, it is not going to be the kind of good stress that we need in order to be successful with the things that we talk about. So hopefully that was helpful. I so appreciated her being so vulnerable and talking about that because I know so many people can relate to it. And hopefully we all kind of get to a place where we're doing a lot less invisible labor and a lot more just doing and living and really being able to appreciate our free time. I know free time is something that every single day I'm trying to get for myself, and I'm getting a lot better at it. And what I have learned is that in order to have free time, you are going to just have to start either delegating tasks to somebody else, giving them more responsibility, or just flat out saying no. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Today, I'm literally just going to sit here. or today I'm going to go do whatever it is that I would like to do for myself, because I have been thinking for you all week. You know what I'm saying? So like, just give me a second. Let me recharge my batteries, and then I can go back to thinking again on Monday. But I just need a second to not think, if that's okay with everyone. And hopefully that will work out for all of us. So yes, love her for sharing that. And check out their podcast if you haven't. What I have listened to it, because I don't watch podcasts. I listen to them like I think they were intended. And what I've heard from their podcast so far has been amazing. So again, their podcast is called We Don't Always Agree. Moving right along. Something else that I saw that was interesting to me is coverage of the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Now, they hadn't had, I think, like a fashion show of that magnitude in a long time. It came back, and it came back with the angels, with the wings. Love to see it. Ashley Graham was also there, even though I don't think she was an angel before they stopped doing angels. But she was in it, looked great, fabulous. And I want to say they also had, like, influencer girls. I don't know if those were influencers or who some of those new faces were. But yeah, they had some of them in there too. But to close the show, they had Tyra Banks. Now, Tyra closed. That walk is still mean. She could walk you down any day of the week and probably twice on Sunday. And she could smize while she's doing it. I don't know what exactly Tyra did to people. Now, I do remember, because people are bringing up America's Next Top Model for whatever reason, because that show is super old. But people are bringing up America's Next Top Model and the issues that I guess they have with it as they are rewatching it as adults. And I find that to be very, very interesting, mainly because, yes, if you go back and watch that show now, is it problematic? Absolutely. Were some of those girls probably traumatized? For sure. I'm sure some of them probably actually maybe had PTSD after their time on that show. I am also sure that some of them probably were just like, nah, being a model, not for me, I'm good. And it probably changed the trajectory of a lot of their lives because of some of the things that happened on the show, like them making girls cut their hair, them making girls dye their hair. I think girls had shaved their eyebrows before. I know for a fact they would talk about girls and their weight. And a part of me watching that back when it used to come on, because when it used to come on, it was must-see television. Wasn't nothing going to get between me and America's Next Top Model. I worked just, as a little background. In college, one of my jobs, because I had two, one of them was, believe it or not, I was a student patrol officer for the police department, which meant that I had a vest and a walkie-talkie, and I patrolled the campus at the medical school. That was my area, the medical school. I patrolled the campus, mainly the library, and I just called in things that I thought were suspicious, or if there was ever a problem in the medical library during my shift, then I would call that in. If somebody requested a walk to their car after it was dark, that was my job to walk them to their car. And it was a very nice job. I got paid real good to do that job. And they would allow us to study. They would allow us to do our homework while we were on the clock, because for the most part, you were just sitting in a library. So you could do your homework. We got an hour-long lunch break, and it was a great little job. But when I would be at work on the nights where America's Next Top Model would come on TV, I would go up to the break room for some of the medical students. There was a TV in there. I would turn it on, and me and one of the librarians, who was just amazing, she and I would sit there and watch that show and kiki the whole time. And it was amazing. There's nothing quite like being 20 years old and being able to either order whatever you wanted from the Chinese restaurant, or going to Hardee's and getting what used to be a fabulous monster thick burger and large fries and a sweet tea, and bringing it back to the medical school's library, going up the elevator, going into that break room, plunking down in front of the TV and just being able to feed your face and watch TV and not think about a thing but America's Next Top Model. What a time. What a time. But anyway, we were watching and it was must-see TV. Like, all the girls were watching America's Next Top Model and Tyra. We loved Mr. and Mrs. J and Nigel. And you really did learn good, like modeling tips. You got to see some behind the scenes stuff. It was an interesting show. But, she did have her moments where you would be like, oh gosh, I can't believe you said that. Or maybe she would say something to a girl, but all we would see is that the girl was pretty. We would be like, no, she's pretty. Now, some of them would have bad pictures from time to time, and you would have to let them know, like, you're a beautiful girl, but this is just a bad picture. You got to learn your angles. You will not be in the running to becoming America's Next Top Model. You got to go, right? And as the numbers would get smaller every season, like the girls, throughout the season, people get eliminated. The closer you got to the finale, of course, they were having to nitpick them, right? Which I'm not making an excuse for Tyra. I'm just trying to figure out how people are mad at her because she had a modeling competition show. And I think she was behaving like people in the modeling industry. We just wouldn't ever be privy to that, because they don't have cameras in modeling agencies and on photo shoots like they did on America's Next Top Model. So I think people give her a hard time about that. Do I believe that Tyra would be like that now? Like, if that same exact show was on TV now, would she be that way? I would say no. I think she would, at least at the very bare bottom least, she would be more politically correct. She would be more politically correct, and she wouldn't be saying stuff that was kind of so reckless. I remember she told Yaya that she had bad skin, and she was like, oh, you'll never get a job with that bad skin. You need to figure out what it is that you're either eating or taking, or something that you're doing to yourself is giving you bad skin. Now, I'm going to pay for you to go to a dermatologist. And she did. I do believe I'm recounting this accurately. And Yaya DaCosta, the famous actress, as we know her now, she did. She went and saw a dermatologist, or maybe it was an esthetician or somebody, while she was on the show. I think they gave her some stuff that she could use. And as the season went on, I think Yaya's skin did eventually clear up. But Tyra was very blunt with her about it. Girl, if they got to Photoshop your forehead every time you take pictures, girl, they're not going to hire you. And I don't know if that kind of language is what people take issue with because she was so blunt and direct, or if people just want everything to be sugarcoated all the time. I don't know. But when she walked that Victoria's Secret fashion runway the other night and people saw her, first of all, Tyra is in her 50s, because they were talking about her body and about how she would have shamed someone who looked like her back then. That is what the people are saying. That, if she was on America's Next Top Model, she would have said something to herself or, a woman like her about her weight. And I'm like, while that's probably true, I fully agree with that. I also think that Tyra is in her 50s. And as Black women age, we do just become more curvy. I don't know why anyone is acting like that is not common, right? So then people took issue with her outfit, and they were like, oh, she had on leggings and they put that big cape on her, and the hair was too big, and it was just a lot. So if she was going to close, they should have had her in something with wings or whatever. And I'm like, okay, y'all have to think about that. If this is a woman in her 50s and she's walking up here with all of these little tight bodied 20-somethings, I don't know that if I was Tyra, I would be like, yeah, just let me just give them this body and give me them wings, and, they going to get what they get and they can't throw a fit. I don't know, because I'm giving icon. Either way, no matter what I have on, I'm giving icon. And I don't even have to be here. Let's also say that. But yeah, people were talking about the outfit, and I'm like, well, maybe that's what she felt comfortable in. Because at the end of the day, she's Tyra Banks. I'm pretty sure she had to clear or approve her outfit. So people were talking about that, just criticizing her through and through, in and out. And I would like to know, because you guys were so helpful with last week's conversation on Lizzo and what it was about that whole thing that maybe I didn't understand, but clearly some of y'all like maybe understood better than me and you could help me get to it. And people did. People wrote me and they reminded me of a few things that I had forgotten about. Not that, not that we're saying that it's still okay for people to kind of, bully her or anything like that. But people did remind me. They were like, don't you remember this, this, and this? A couple hijinks that happened here and there. And that's what made us not like her. It's got nothing to do with this other stuff. She actually did stuff. You just forgot about it. And I said, hey, it's fair. It's fair. And I don't judge you. So maybe I feel the same way about this. I'm like, did I just not remember America's Next Top Model the way some people did? Or am I remembering it correctly? And I just don't think that Tyra is the villain that y'all are making her out to be. Because you're making her out to be a villain and you're using that as an excuse to like bully her as a woman in her mid-50s. Who, yeah, she used to be like a Sports Illustrated model. She used to be a Victoria's Secret angel. Like Tyra was really that girl. Like the body used to be everywhere. But we all age and we're all going to change. Like most recently, Pamela Anderson was in that Baywatch documentary. If you haven't seen that, I think it's on Hulu. It's a really good documentary, by the way. But it talks about how she got put on Baywatch, how she was like this over-sexualized like sex kitten, and how part of her business strategy was to be that. Like she understood that. That's what she wanted. She played it up. She made that money. And now she's a woman in her 50s and she's like, I'm not putting on makeup for y'all. Like, no, I did that in my 20s and my 30s. Like I posed for Playboy. Like I've done that. And now that I'm in my 50s, this is who I am and this is who I'm going to be. I'm not doing any of that stuff just for y'all like anymore, which I think is important to note. Because when I do talk to people about making these lifestyle changes and getting their bodies to a really healthy place, because we are still only in our 40s and we have so much life left, people say, yeah, but I don't want to have to do this for the rest of my life. And I'm like, girl, me neither. That's why I'm trying to train myself to do the things now in my 40s so that when I'm in my 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, whatever, there is not as much invisible labor. There you go, bringing it back all together. There is not as much invisible labor that goes along with living this lifestyle as I age. And I'm pretty sure Tyra feels the same way. Tyra was probably like, check my magazine covers. Like I'm in my 50s now. Sure. Yes, today I'm walking this runway in leggings and a cape and I'm way more covered than maybe, the women walking behind me. Because let's also throw that in there. The women, that crowd of women walking behind her, they're walking behind her by a lot. Sure, I might not look like them anymore, but I've given you guys that. Like I had my prime. I've done it. And that's just not something that I'm going to make myself feel like I even have to do, or I don't have to live up to that standard anymore. And for whatever reason, I think people are bothered by that. Sometimes I think people are just bothered by the audacity of a woman to quote unquote either not care. I'm not going to say let themselves go, but I think some people do see it as you letting yourself go if you just decide I don't want to do this anymore. And I tell my close girlfriends all the time, there will come a day where I say, Tia, you did it. You were born a hot girl. And I say this all the time. This might actually go on my funeral program. I don't know. I'm going to have to talk it over with my daughter. But I'm like, yeah, I was born a hot girl. I will live as a hot girl. And one day when I retire as a hot girl, I'm going to hang it up. Baby, I'm going to hang it up. And I'm not going to eat my McDonald's like with my big sunglasses on and a cap and a hood on in my car. Like I'm not going to have to hide about it. I'm going to eat it out in the open so everybody can see. And I dare you to say something to me about it. Say something to me about it. Because, sometimes people do that to me now. When I'm in groups or like when I'm around people who I'm not necessarily around all the time and I choose to eat something that's delicious instead of eating something that's like green, people will be like, ooh, but they say it like kind of sassy, like, ooh, I didn't know you ate so-and-so. Or like, ooh, I'm going to tell people you're eating so-and-so. Girl, tell them. Please do. Please tell them. I'm a millennial. Nuck if you buck. Okay? And I just put my hood on my head and in my closet and nobody's in here. But yeah, I'm like, tell them. Because it's not all or nothing. And one day we will all get to a place where we're like, that was fun. We enjoyed that time in our lives, but now I'm about to just ride this thing out. And I don't know when that's going to be for me, because Tina Turner was super fine for a long time. And because I like super love Tina Turner, sometimes I'm like, ooh, I can do it like Tina, but no, I might not be able to do it like Tina. But anyway, there are some women that ride it out for a very long time. I just don't think those are in my cards personally. So we have to give people like Tyra a little bit more grace and a lot less criticism, unless I'm wrong about that, in which case someone please message me and be like, no, Tia, do you remember this, this, and this? Do you remember that, that, and that? That is why people have an issue with Tyra Banks. But for now, I'm just kind of like, ooh, it was a TV show and an old one. And also, let's just point out, just for, the evidence of it all, Exhibit A, I'm pretty sure there were lots of other problematic television shows on during that time. And we don't see, those people being like nailed to the cross about it either, right? So there's that too. I hope Tyra is having a better day today than she had yesterday reading all that stuff online. Okay, moving right along to some of the random things I wanted to talk about, because one of my friends gave me the advice to start talking more about this whole wardrobe revamping situation that is definitely taking up a lot of my mental space and is a lot of invisible labor for me. Because every time I get dressed to go somewhere, I'm like, okay, Tia, number one, what is the vibe? What is the level of comfort that we're trying to achieve? And do we even have those items now that you have purged your closet of almost everything? And the answer to some of that is no, we ain't got it. We might have the peanut butter, but not the jelly. We might have the clothes, but not the shoes. We might have shoes, but not the top. Like whatever. So I'm in the process of pulling it all back together. And I think right now I'm at a place where I have recognized that I definitely need comfortable, flat daytime shoes that are good for running errands, that are not sneakers. What I have also learned and decided for myself is, because I work out every day, and that is such a big part of like my day and my life, is that when I'm not working out, I don't want to have on workout clothes. Like when I run errands and I'm out and about, unless I'm coming from a place, I don't want to have this stuff on. Like I want to start going out and actually having on real outfits and shoes that are not sneakers. Unless I'm able to find some sneakers that are like cute little lifestyle sneakers that go with a lot of things. But even then I'm like, no, because I have those. And I just don't want to wear sneakers when I don't have to. Right? So I'm looking for, and a friend gave me a really good recommendation on some. My only problem with those were when I went to the website, there were too many cute ones for me to pick from. And at the price point that those shoes were at, I was like, oh, Tia, you're going to have to pick a pair. You're going to have to start with a pair and go from there. Okay. There was some really cute, like leopard print ones. And sometimes I'm like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't go with like a big print when I'm trying to rebuild my wardrobe, because I feel like you'll get less wear out of them initially. But yeah, we got to see. Because some of the cute, really cute, comfortable looking flat black boots that were on that website, I think they were like $400. And when I saw that, I said, my friend has really good taste, number one. And then number two, Tia, do you actually need boots? Because the boots are my favorite thing that I saw. So now I'm like, I'm conflicted in my retail spirit, but I'm like, I don't need boots. I'm sitting in my closet because y'all know that's where I record. I'm going to count the number of pair of boots I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I know that, oh, no. I counted those. Yeah. So I have 8 pairs of boots. And I would say out of those 8 pairs, all of them are black boots. Of different styles and heights and things like that, except for one. One pair is a pair of gray Uggs. Everything else is black with a heel. Whether it's a low heel, a high heel, is it an over the boot knee? Is it a thigh high? Is it a cowboy? Like whatever. Are they peep toe booties? Platform black? Like I don't need another pair of black boots. I really don't. But when I saw them, I was like, ooh, maybe I do just have to have these. But I know that's the wrong thing to do. So I'm trying to work through those feelings and just go with some of the loafers that I saw that I probably need. So it's between those loafers. And then there was a pair of slides that I saw on Steve Madden's website that were cute. And let me tell you about how the internet and the devil works, okay? Because they the same person. I saw those slides on Steve Madden's website, and I thought to myself, now these are really cute. They're kind of giving casual, dressy Birkenstock a little bit. They're black. They've got a cute little gold buckle thing on the top, and they have fur on the inside, like their fur line, which I know can go either way for some people, but it's okay. I feel like I could pull those off because I wear a lot of black and I wear like gold jewelry. So I feel like I could wear those, right? But then I told myself, I was like, but sometimes if you look at them hard enough, they give Pilgrim a little bit. Something about them was given a little bit of, we stole this land. And I didn't like that. So then I passed on them, and they were on sale. But I passed because I'm like, ooh, I can't get over like the pilgrimy of it all. I get on Instagram, and one of the style influencers that I just recently started following was on there, and she was showing like all these different looks, how she was like getting dressed for fall or like whatever. Do y'all know that girl had them shoes on? She had them on, and they looked good on her. And then I said to myself, well, dang, now I must go back and buy those shoes. I must go back and buy them because she had them. So then I said, okay, well, Tia, maybe you'll feel better about the shoes if you know for a fact you have different things to wear with them. Because right now in my mind, I can only think of one outfit that I will wear with them. And I'm not trying to be that person either. I'm not trying to be the person that buys things that go with exact outfits. They need to go with the multitude of things, right? I need to stop buying outfits and just buy really good pieces that can mix and match. So I ordered some things. I haven't even tried them on, which speaks to my maturity level, that or my lack of free time. I don't know which one, but I ordered some stuff. I haven't been able to try any of it on yet, but when I try it on, that will tell me whether or not I'm going to order those slides, because I feel like they would go with a lot. I feel like I would get a lot of wear out of them as long as I can mix and match my items. Now, my challenge with getting dressed in clothes that are not like active wear is that I feel like when it's time to go somewhere, something about, think again, the invisible labor that that goes into styling myself is too much for me. And I don't know if that's like a time constraint thing, because like because I don't have a lot of free time, when it's time for me to get dressed, it's like, girl, you gotta go. You're on the clock, right? You need to go in there and pick out something to wear and come out of here. And the pressure of that sometimes is just too much for me. So I come in here and I'm like looking at stuff, and I tried to like color coordinate my closet. So I have like whites and creams together as far as tops go. I have like whites and creams together, and it kind of fades into like tans, browns, and leopards. Then we have like our section of like navies, blues, and denim tops. Then we have a whole section of black. Then we go into like a bright colored section. And then, yeah, that's it for my tops. And then I have tops that are like folded up in the closet, but those are more like cotton t-shirt things. But yeah, so I come in here and I'm kind of like, okay, I'll know what color I want to wear maybe. Then it's like, you got to pick a top. Then like, do you put jeans with that, or do you wear skirts? And another area of improvement for my wardrobe would be a variety of bottoms. I realize that I have a lot of jeans, and my jeans are folded the way they used to fold them at Gap. They might still fold them like this at Gap. I also worked for Gap while I was in college. It wasn't that long. It was a very short stint. But so I learned how they fold jeans, and I have a shelf and a half full. Well, not a shelf and a half. It's like a shelf and a third of a shelf full of denim jeans. I don't need to buy another pair of jeans. And if you ever hear me say I'm buying a pair of jeans, it must be because it's sizing. it's a sizing issue, which also, because I've been looking up a lot of style inspiration online, I found this girl who shared the best hack for getting jeans to fit really great. She was like, get the size that fits your thighs and your butt, right? And this is not the hack, but she was like, take it to a tailor. We already knew that. But she said, when you get to the tailor, tell them, yes, you want the waist taken in, but tell them to put a zipper in the seam up the side, because that gives you a much more beautiful, like, hug to your waist. And I was like, mind blown. She was like, yes, this will be expensive. So if you buy expensive pair of jeans, you're going to have to add about $80 on top of that to get this little thing done. She was like, but if you do find an inexpensive pair of jeans that looks great on you, she was like, yeah, you'll probably be into those jeans for about $100 to $110 by the time you get this done. But it was like such a beautiful look and fit on her. So I'm keeping that in mind too, because I am a person who has thighs and a butt that's one size, but my waist is another size. And so I always end up having to wear a belt, and I don't like that either. So learned that. But yeah, an area of improvement for my wardrobe is definitely the fact that I do not have a variety of bottoms. I have lots of jeans, all the washes, distressed, not distressed, lengths, all of that. I do not have other kinds of bottoms. Like, I'm looking, and I think I have 2 skirts. I have a pair of like wintry cream dress pants that are really cute. I just got those last year and only wore them one time. I have some black pants. Like, I have those same pants, but like in black. And they're also really cute. But again, last year only wore those one time. And then for some reason, I still have some of the work pants, like the pants I used to wear to work back when I was a corporate girly. And I feel like I just need to get rid of those. But then a part of me just won't let myself get rid of them, because I'm like, oh, Tia, you might need a pair of slacks one day, and you don't want to have to go out and buy them. So then I keep those for whatever reason. But when I mean to tell you, that's it. And then, of course, I have leather leggings. Like, I have leather leggings. I probably have 3 pair of black. I have 3 black pair, and I think like a maroon burgundy pair, because Michelle Obama had that all burgundy look. What was that, for somebody's inauguration? And it was fabulous. So I too have an all burgundy look that does look really good on me. Like, I love it. But again, something like that, you probably wear it like once a season, because it is an all burgundy look. But I need to learn how to mix and match those kinds of pieces so that I can get more wear out of them, because I'm spending money on this stuff. But that made me realize that, like, oh, you need to buy more skirts, because I would love to wear a skirt. I do have dresses, but I feel like we can talk about dresses on another call. But yeah, I'm like, I need more skirts, and I probably need more pants that aren't jeans, and that aren't dress slacks, and that aren't leather leggings. So I need to see like what the people are wearing and get some of those things. And then I also noticed that, the style girls always have an oversized blazer that is always like perfectly oversized. And I have an oversized blazer that still has the tags on it. I've never worn it. And that is because of the color of it. And I guess I feel like I just don't know how to wear it. But now that I'm talking to you, I feel like, I could probably wear that with like a white t-shirt underneath. Like, it doesn't always have to be, so like, I don't know, more than what I'm thinking it in my mind to be. But you know what my other issue is? And I was telling this to like my super stylish friend. I was telling her, like, girl, no, sometimes I feel like I got clothes. It's just that, where am I wearing this to? Where am I wearing this? Because I have cute outfits. I have things. But I'm like, am I really going to put that on to go to Kroger and Costco? Like, I mean, I could, but why? And I need to get out of the thinking of like, I'm wasting an outfit. Because that's something we used to say back in the day. I don't know if y'all used to say that or not. But if I was dressed up and I was looking real cute and I liked what I looked like that day, but nobody saw it, I would say to myself, like, dang, girl, you just wasted this outfit. Because, like, no one saw you, right? So I felt like I wore it and it kind of went to waste. When no, really, you should wear things for you. And as long as I'm enjoying myself in the outfit, that should really be all that matters. But then the flip side to that is, do I really need to look like that for how I live the majority of my days? I don't know. And I've got to figure that out. Like, I've got to figure that out mentally. The fact that I want to present myself in a different way. Like, I want to wear the outfits and the clothes. Like, I really want to be that girl. But then there's like a little Tia on my shoulder that's like, but yeah, girl, but you ain't going nowhere but to Kroger and Costco. And so what I end up doing is, like, no lie, like, not even kidding, I shop and buy stuff, and a lot of it, I just don't even wear it until it's like a date night. I'll wear it on date night. And the way date nights go for me is like, when it's time to get dressed, it's time to get dressed. I'm always running just a couple minutes behind for one reason or the other. So I never even get a picture of myself in any of these outfits, because it's like, by the time I'm done getting dressed, it's time to get in the car and we got to get out of here, because chances are we're going into the city for some type of reservation. And then I'm like living. I'm in the moment. So I don't even like really get to see or enjoy myself in the clothes, because I feel like it all happens so fast. I don't know. Hopefully someone understands what I'm saying and you can help me out with the whole figuring out the clothing situation. But I'm working on it. And I'm going to try that stuff on tonight after I get out of the shower. So that's my whole update on the wardrobe thing. We started watching Outlast on Netflix. It is one of those survival shows where people get dropped off somewhere in Alaska and then you just have to outlast the people in the competition. Fascinating TV. Love it. Please, if you need something to binge watch, great television. I don't want to ruin it for you. I don't even know who wins. Like, I haven't seen the end of it yet, but what I have seen of it so far, oh my gosh, people know how to do a lot of things. Like, people have outdoor skills. And when I see people doing these things, I'm like, number one, where did you learn this? Number two, are y'all preparing for something that I don't know about? Like, should I be learning how to like hunt and fish and start a fire from scratch and cook squirrel? Like, should I know how to kill, skin, and cook a squirrel? Should I know how to build a shelter from scratch? Like, are these things that I should know? Because apparently there's a large part of the population that knows these things. Please watch that if you have not. I don't want to give any of it away, but when I mean to tell you amazing television, amazing. I'm still watching Love is Blind. The new episodes just got released today, so I haven't seen the new ones just yet. But let's just talk about some of the things that bothered me on the last couple of episodes. Number one, Marissa's mama. Now, I too am a mama bear. I'm not a mean one though. Marissa's mama was mean. Marissa's mama called her the B word. Marissa's mama has a tongue ring, which, no judgment from me here, but I just haven't seen one of those in quite some time. So I didn't know that was a thing people were still doing, keeping, or having, right? She has a tongue ring. When I mean to tell you, that lady was vicious. She was vicious. Like, I felt bad for poor little Ramses, or Ramses, however you say his name, sitting at that table having to take all of that in, because she was talking about Marissa being taken advantage of, about how none of the men in her life have ever been worth anything, and that he was probably going to be like that too, because none of her marriages have ever worked out. She was like, marriage is not for forever, and Marissa needs to make you sign a prenup. And Ramses was like, chill, girl. Like, I'm not here for Marissa's money. I don't need Marissa's money. I will happily sign a prenup, actually, because you're talking about hypothetical money in the first place. Marissa's just, that's background. If you're not watching, Marissa is in law school. So, of course, she'll graduate and she'll get a good job and she will eventually start making really good money. So the mom was like all about that. And I don't know what I expected from her mom. Probably because Marissa is such a little, like, I don't know. She's like a little ball of energy and a little ball of joy that I just didn't see that coming from her mom, like at all. But you can tell that those kids, her and her siblings, and I think it was 4 of them, Marissa, and she had 3 siblings. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say those children said that they all have different fathers, and they only shared that, and I'm only sharing it just to show how many relationships that lady has been let down by. So she's fallen in love that many times, and it didn't go the way that she wanted to. That's why she has her issues and her opinions and perspectives, and she's projecting that onto the 2 of them, right? Oh my goodness. Like that was a lot. So, I cannot wait to see what happens with them. Now, Steven and Monica. I never liked them as a couple to begin with. I don't know if they are going to make up and keep trying to work on their relationship. I don't know what's going to happen. But in this most recent episode, apparently he went to do some sleep study. And let's face it, we don't know if he was at a sleep study or not. But apparently while he was at a sleep study, which I thought when you went to a sleep study, you were supposed to be asleep. But Steven was there texting someone else. And it really wasn't the fact maybe that he was texting this other person, which for Monica, I think it probably was. But it was what they were texting. And apparently they were texting some really kinky things. And when Monica found out about this, and they don't, you know what I don't like about Love is Blind? They don't ever show us like the stuff. Because we needed to know how she find out. Like, did she go through his phone? How did she come into knowing about these text messages? But anyway, so she finds out about these text messages. And when I mean to tell you, she reads that man, which I never liked Steven after he called her a mutt. Like when they were in the pods together, they were talking about race or whatever, and Steven had recently found out that he had some black in him. Now, when you look at Steven never looked like 100% white to me. Like you could look at him and tell, he was probably mixed with a little something, but he does present as like a redheaded, I guess, white man if you had to pick something. And he said it growing up in school, he always selected that he was a white person. It wasn't until somebody in his family did one of those 23andMe's or Ancestry.coms that he finds out that he's actually, I think he actually ended up being some percentage of black that's pretty like, bruh, like you probably are just black. I don't know. But then Monica says, oh, Monica. Now, if you are watching the show, you look at Monica. Monica is obviously a black woman, right? But Monica, I want to say she said her father was from Honduras, maybe. I could be making that up. But like one of her parents is from somewhere and the other parent is from somewhere else. But Monica is black, right? When you look at her, she is a black woman. She says, oh yeah, absolutely. Like I know how that feels because I too never knew what race to put down when I was in school. Like I never knew what box to check. And I was like, girl, you check the black one. When they say African American or black, you're the black. You might not be African American, clearly, because you said your parents are from wherever. So you might not be African American, or you might not identify as African American because you clearly don't identify as being American. And that's fine. But baby, all day, 7 days a week, 365, all the time. Baby, you black. And that's what people see when they see you, if you did not know that. So you should be checking the black box. Let's start there. But when she says that, he says to her, like, oh, so you're a mutt too. Because I guess he's calling himself a mutt because he's mixed with all these things. And he's like, oh, so you're a mutt too. And she was like, yes. Excuse me? Because what about me gave dog? I know you have not even seen me yet. But what about me and the way I sound gave domestic animal? Stray dog. Because I think a mutt is more like, when I think of mutt, I think of more like stray, right? Excuse me? So that's how their relationship got started, okay? So then they go to Mexico, whatever. Now he's in the sleep study and he's caught texting this other person. She reads him for filth because the whole time they've been together, she's been begging him to buy her flowers. Now, I was on Steven's side in the beginning because I was like, well, girl, when has he had time to buy you flowers? Y'all have been in Mexico. He's on vacation. And sure, he could have the resort bring flowers to your room. I guess that's a nice gesture. And maybe because I've been married for almost 20 years, I think about things like that a lot differently. And I'm like, I can't take them flowers with me. I mean, I guess I kind of could, but then I would have to hold them the whole time I'm on the flight. And I don't want to do that. And I'm going to have to pour the water out because TSA ain't having it. So now these flowers have to ride all the way back to Atlanta in no water and in my lap. Like, please, no, sir, if you're going to spend $150 on something, because let's keep it a stack. That's what a resort is probably going to charge you on the low end for some for a flower arrangement. Before you do that, you ask me if there's something that I would actually want to do and or experience with that same amount of money. Because I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say, oh, if I can just blow $200 on something today, yeah, let me find something to do. Or let me order myself something that I need and have it shipped to me, and it'll be on the front porch when we get back from this. I send it to my mama's house and she can hold it for me until we get back. I don't know. But yeah, so she reads him for filth because she was like, you never got me those flowers. You never did any of the things you said you were going to do in the pods. That's why I picked you, yada, yada, yada. So what I need for you to do is sit down on this couch. And because basically you were broke for the past week and I've been carrying your weight for the past week, I need you to Venmo me what you owe me. Like, pay me what you owe me and then get out of here. And he sat down on that couch in full shame, in the armor of shame and embarrassment. He Venmo'd that girl that money and he was like, I'm so sorry. He was like, now I feel like this is what I'm going to get remembered for, like on this show. And that just like never was my intention. Like, I wanted to get married, yada, yada. He was like, but then it became too much and I started feeling overwhelmed and I got cold feet, blah, 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 blah. Monica ain't hearing it and she not having it. And she's like, bruh, I don't care about none of that. Just Venmo me what you owe me and get out of here. And so that's where we last left Monica and Steven. So I cannot wait to see what's on this next episode. The rest of the couples, I would say, are kind of like, womp womp. Tyler and Ashley, y'all might have seen some of their drama playing out on social media right now. Apparently, he lied about having like not 1, not 2, but 3 kids. And he finally came clean to her about that on the last episode. But he was telling her he was just a sperm donor. And fast forward to present day, if you're following any of this on social media, the baby mama is saying he was not a sperm donor. He's very much so been in their lives. They've been showing pictures of Tyler with these children. Him and his friends are saying, no, 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 no. Y'all know I was a sperm donor because apparently the mother of his children, quote unquote, it was in a relationship with another woman and they wanted to have kids. So as their friend, he donated sperm, which is something I'm sure happens a lot, but they didn't have any legal paperwork in place. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, her and her girlfriend broke up, and because they're friends, I guess he would be coming around the kids and maybe it was like a weird thing. So then he just kind of started just spending time with them, and one of them kids looked just like him. So I don't even know how that works. Like, I'm like, ooh, but when the kid has your whole face, how are you just a sperm donor? I don't know. But then there's this whole conversation about him owing child support. And I'm like, well, if you're just a sperm donor, how you owe them money? I don't know. It's a mess and it's sloppy. It's a mess and it is sloppy. And I cannot wait for the reunion to hear what his partner, Ashley, has got to say about all this stuff. Because I don't know how much of this she was told either on camera or off camera when they actually finally got to meet. I just know in the last episode, he did come clean to her that there are children in his life. And the situation is just, I think he referred to it as being like kind of weird or whatever. So we'll see. Next is Tim and Alex. And I hope Tim says no. I don't know if they're going to even make it to the altar, but let me tell you about Alex and her little attitude. It's not becoming and it's not cute. I don't really even know why she has an attitude, because the guy that she ended up being like partnered with is cute. Like, he's an attractive man who has a good job. When they went to visit, like once they got home from Mexico, and you know how they go visit each other's houses just to see how the other person has been living, his home was immaculate. Like, it looked like a show house. Like, it looked like either he had that thing staged because he knew people was coming back over here to see it once he got back from Mexico, or he had it professionally cleaned, or maybe he just lives like that, and that could possibly also be the case. But his house was nice and it was clean. Baby, when they got over to Alex's house, when I mean to tell you, it was a mess from the front door to the floor to the back, coming out the closet. And she was like, oh, it's just like this because when I was packing for the show, like, I ran out of time and I didn't get a chance to clean up before I left. And I'm like, nah, girl, I can understand maybe your walk-in closet being a total disaster. And that's fine, because then you just close the door and no one has to know. Nobody knows it but me, right? But the rest of your home, it was stuff everywhere. Like, y'all would just have to go and see it. And we're like, that's no way. You either have an addiction to shopping, because it's a lot of stuff in here. And I mean like clothes and shoes, not like random tchotchkes and stuff like that. It was definitely like stuff. And maybe she did shop a lot getting ready for the show. And I don't know. But when I mean to tell you, it was stuff everywhere. The expression on his face, that man was taken aback. He was kind of like, oh, wow, he wasn't ready. Like, he had no idea that girl was living like that, and neither did we. Because based on her attitude and how she handles him and talks to him, you would think that she's got all of her I's dotted and her T's crossed. And no, ma'am, no, sir. That place was a pigsty. You would think that a single man lived there. Like, you would think that. And so then when I'm seeing that, I'm like, okay, so a bigger thing has to be happening here. She either could have been going through something, and I don't like diagnosing people with things, but I'm like, she could have been having like some type of an emotional situation before going on this show, and her home is a reflection of whatever her state was before she went on this show. Or she's just a mess. Like, it's just bad and she's messy. But then she alluded to this a little bit when they were in the pods before they actually got a chance to meet. She said like that she was a little messy. And I'm like, no, girl, being a little messy is like, I don't know. I don't even know what a little messy is. A little messy is like, oh, within like 5 minutes, I could have this place ready if somebody rang my doorbell, I guess. I don't know. Her situation, what she has going on, that is going to take the help of several people to get that under control. And I don't know if that changed the way he felt about her, but I hope they address that on the next episode, because all of us as a collective on the internet did not see that coming. And we really do want to know, like, where did that come from? Like, where did it come from? And then, yeah, the other couples are kind of like womp womp, like they'll probably get married. There's nothing happening there, and good for them. Good for them that is the case. I think the only thing with Taylor and Garrett is that man does not want to move to San Diego. But I think he's also afraid of her, and so he'll probably move. But so we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know. Then lastly, before I go, GloRilla's new album came out. It is titled Glorious, and it is 42 minutes of non-stop bops. There are no skips. Every song is a banger. Every song very much so gives me all of the feels that I, as a hot girl, want to feel. And I just want to say that there is a gospel song on her album. And it's good. It's got like Kirk Franklin on it and somebody else that I can't think of who it is right now. But yeah, it's a great song. Her lyrics on it are like very honest, I think. And people have an issue with that. And I'm just trying to figure out when people, specifically Christians, when did Did we have a meeting and like I missed it? Where we decided that there was only one way to kind of have a walk with faith. Like, y'all, I think some of you decided that there's only one way that looks right. And if it's not that way, then baby, it's wrong. And then did everybody, like, were some of y'all just like born, like truly perfect in his sight? I mean, we're all perfect in his sight. But I think some of y'all think y'all are like perfect in his sight. And if I need to say that again, I'm going to. Some of y'all, I know we all are perfect in his sight, right? You're all perfect in his sight. But I think some of y'all think you're perfect in his sight. I think you think you're living perfectly. And I think that you think that because of some of the stuff you say on the internet that does not come off the way you probably want it to. And as a Christian, I thought we were supposed to, like, of course, live as Christ-like as we possibly can, right? Knowing that we will all fall short, right? Knowing that we are all sinners. Knowing that you are supposed to treat your neighbor like you treat yourself. I don't know if people like forget that part or if it's just ingrained in some of you guys, because it's not me. Now, I'm not perfect and I got my flaws, but being judgmental ain't one of them, baby. Being judgmental ain't one of them. I'm a definitely come as you are kind of girl. But I'm kind of trying to figure out how that's not the case for everybody. So maybe this is also something that someone can message me about and help me understand. Because I'm like, so are you saying to me that someone like GloRilla can't also have a testimony and a story? That she can't also have a relationship with God because she's a rapper? And sure, she raps about all kinds of stuff. Yes, she do. Yes, the language is all over the place, right? It is. However, I think it is, let's just plainly say it, it's bad. It's bad to look at her or even someone just similar to her and feel like they're not worthy of using their God-given talent and their gift to also shine a light on an area of her life that maybe doesn't get seen as much, and that is her relationship with God. I mean, for crying out loud, her name is Gloria Hallelujah. Like, her real birth name is Gloria Hallelujah. And I don't know if you've ever seen any of her videos or if you've ever heard her talk, but it wasn't my first time hearing her talk about her relationship with the Lord. It wasn't my first time. So when I was listening to the album and that song came up, I was like, wow. Well, first of all, I was in my nostalgia feelings because I was like, ooh, this reminds me of like back in the 90s when all of the R&B girls used to close out their record with a gospel song like Mariah Carey, Destiny's Child, like all the girls used to put a gospel song, like a gospel track on their records. I don't remember people ever being upset about that though. And is it because they're singers and y'all could tolerate what they were singing about because they were singing about love and heartbreak and it was palatable. So you were okay with them also being heartbroken, but, also having a relationship with God. But people have made it very clear that they are not okay with GloRilla being a rapper, basically rapping about the same stuff them girls were singing about because her whole album is about how somebody done got her messed up. She trying to leave these trifling men alone. She wants the same for her friends. And she wants all women to feel like just really good about themselves, right? Hair, face, yes. Like wipe me down. Yes, with the Holy Spirit. Okay, let me bring it back. So I kind of feel like I'm not understanding where that's coming from. Or like, why is that even a thing? Why is that even a thing? And why don't y'all do that to men? Why is it? Because then I gotta go because it's almost 8:00. But why is it that a man can be a rapper or anything? I don't know what y'all find deplorable about men. I have my list of things and it's too late in this call to get into it. But let's say it's a well-known rapper or whatever. For example, Kanye West made Jesus Walks. We won't even talk about when he actually started making actual gospel music. We're not going to talk about that because I feel like that was a different Kanye at a different time. But back when he was still college dropout Kanye and he made Jesus Walks, I don't remember. Maybe I was just too young and I wasn't like into what people were thinking and saying because I was young, right? So I was only into myself. But I don't remember people having that same kind of smoke for Jesus Walks. And that's also a good song that kind of talks about him just wanting to be shown the way, right? Lord, show me the way because the devil is trying to break me down. Jesus, walk with me. She is literally giving a testimony in her song. Now, her album is still new, so I don't know the lyrics like that just yet. But I would love to know why people had such an issue with that, because I've always felt like this, that is a spirit rooted in some kind of ugliness. Like, people have got to get to a place where, number one, you don't focus so much and be so invested into somebody else's walk with anything that it shows an ugly side of you, like that it perhaps brings you out of character. And for some people, I don't even think that's you being brought out of your character. You just might have a little ugly spirit about you that you need to be more focused on praying about and worrying a lot less about how this young lady has been blessed enough to bring her huge family, because I heard it was a lot of them, sleeping on the floor and sleeping on air mattresses all together in like a tiny space. Like, her story is actually a very beautiful one. And if people took the time to know about where she came from instead of judging her for where you think she is and who you think she is, if you actually took a moment to like learn her story, you would learn that that girl feels as if she has been brought from a mighty long way, and she was able to do it for her mama and her siblings. And she feels as if there's no way that any of that would not have happened if not for her relationship with God. So, I mean, if we're going to be really good friends, sometimes you have to let your friends know and like, ooh, girl, like, ooh, that's strange that you feel that way. Please do tell me more about that. And so, yes, I would love to hear it. If you want to DM me like you did last week and kind of explain to me where some of that thinking comes from, I would love to hear it, because that is just especially when our whole religion is supposed to be one like based on like love and acceptance. And truly, and I could be wrong about this, but I truly really thought it was not our jobs as followers of Christ to be convicting one another. Like, we are not each other's measuring sticks for salvation. We're definitely not. Like, what I do in my walk is not supposed to be like copy and paste for like everybody. And I just, I don't know. But what I do want to say about her is congratulations on making a fire album. Congratulations on making a fire album. I ran yesterday listening to her album, and I listened to it from start to finish for my whole run. And then when it was over, I started it again right from the intro, and I let that baby ride until I was done with strength training, because it truly is like such a great album. One that I have not enjoyed an album like that, I think, since Renaissance. Ooh, catch it. I haven't. I have not enjoyed a album that much since Renaissance. So I'm happy for her. She's a young girl. She's only in her 20s. I think she's 25 if I'm not mistaken. So she's got a lot of music left to make and give to the world. And I can't wait to see how she continues to prosper and grow, however the Lord sees fit for her. Okay. Well, girl, I'm going to go because I still need to eat, and it's 7:51. So thank you for always answering my call. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Tia's Table. Remember, when you're out, be nice. Girl, be nice online. I feel like I'm going to have to start saying that. Let's be nice to each other on the internet. I know we don't like to tussle online, but when I was reading that stuff people were saying about Gloria Hallelujah Woods, because that's her whole name, I was just like, ooh, like who have we become? Who have we become? So girls, say something nice when you out, when you're online. Just be nice. If you can't be none of what does Auntie Tab say? And if you can't be nice, if you're not having a good day, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's. Whoo. Never knock another woman's hustle. Don't compete. Don't compare. Don't complain. What God has for you is for you. I will talk to you on the next episode of Tia's Table, girl. Love you. Bye. Hey girl, still there? You can get my other number by clicking on the link in the description box. Bye.